Seventh chapter. Removal of doubt about God's partiality. The king Parikshit asked, O fortunate one, God is said to have an equal view for everybody. 860. Why then does he favor the gods alone? Why does he kill the demons only? Thus I have some doubts regarding God's impartiality. Kindly remove them. Shukdev says, Parikshit, God's sketches are so vivid that even the great sages can't comprehend them fully. Even then, just by reciting these surprising sketches of God, one receives the supreme position. Accepting the virtues of this illusion, God acquires the opposing forms of killer and killed occasionally. Virtues like Satya, chastity, Rajas, royalty, and Tamas, darkness, are of nature and not of God, and hence keep rising and falling with time. When Satguna, chastity, rises, God adopts the gods and the sages and causes a surge in their number. A rise in Rajas, royal, virtues sees a surge in demons' number. While a rise in Tama, darkness, virtues leads to a surge in the population of the Yaksh and Rakshasas, ogres and other supernatural beings. But God is in fact impartial. Shukdev says, O king, once Devarshi Narada had related an incident to your grandfather Yudhishthira. I am narrating it to you right now. Your doubts will be removed. Tale of Jay-Vijay. During the Rajsuya Yajna in Yudhishthira's court, Lord Krishna had beheaded Shishupal with his veer. Everyone, including Yudhishthira, saw Shishupal's soul annihilating in Lord Krishna. Surprised, Yudhishthira had asked Narada then, O Devarshi, isn't it surprising that Shishupal, who was so jealous of Lord Krishna, got merged in him? Such fortune is even rare for the great yogis, ascetics. How did then this rival of God get such a supreme fortune? Narada said, O king, criticism, praise, serving or negligence are all confined to the body only. When the soul is identified with the body, people suffer from the impact of scolding and abusing. God has no ego like ordinary beings because He is the Supreme Soul and ultimate. If He punishes someone, it is for one's benefit and not for any anger or jealousy. Therefore, one must concentrate his mind in God no matter what his feelings are: enmity, devotion, fear, affection. 861. In God's view, these feelings don't make any difference. Narada said, Yudhishthira, in my opinion, it is certain that the concentration achieved through a feeling of enmity is rare to achieve otherwise, even with devotion. This is the reason why uncountable number of sinners who had strong enmity for Lord Krishna merged with him. Your cousins Shishupal and Dantavakra were fortunate. They both were the gatekeepers of the Lord. It was by curse of Brahman that they had to be relegated and take birth as sinful demons. Narada said, O king, Brahma's Manasputras, sons begotten by thoughts, Sankadi Kumars were freely roaming all over the universe. Once they reached Vaikunt, the abode of Lord Vishnu. But assuming them to be ordinary boys, the gatekeepers, Jay-Vijay, did not allow them in. Indignant by the behavior of the gatekeepers, Sankadi Kumars cursed them, Fools, both of you don't deserve a presence near God. Both of you are endowed with Rajguna and Tamoguna, royal and dark virtues, so go and take birth as the demons. When both the gatekeepers were falling from Vaikunt, the kind Sankadi Kumars said, Okay, the effect of our curse shall long for your 3 births only, thereafter you shall return to Vaikunt again. Tale of Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashyapu. By the curse of Brahmins, the gatekeepers of the god, Jay-Vijay took their first birth as the demons Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh. Diti was their mother. Hiranyaksh had stolen the earth and hidden it in Sutla Loka, causing worries for Brahma. To remove the worries of Brahma, Lord appeared as Varha Avatar, the boar incarnation, and killed Hiranyaksh. After the killing of Hiranyaksh, his elder brother Hiranyakashipu developed enmity with Lord Vishnu. He vowed to other demons, I will kill that tricky Vishnu with my trident. Thus no one will be able to protect the gods. All of you go out and bring havoc on them. Then Hiranyakashipu cremated his younger brother Hiranyaksh, condoled Mother Aditi and wife of his younger brother, and himself went away to observe penance in order to acquire strength and gallantry. 862. In the valley of Mandarachal mountain, Hiranyakashipu stood on one toe only and raised his hands towards sky. He continued to stand in the same position. Ultimately, fire began to emerge from his head. That fire caused burning of all the 3 lokas, worlds. Panicked by the fire, the gods reached to Brahma and prayed to put the fire off. Brahma at once appeared before Hiranyakashipu and said, Son Hiranyakashipu, your penance is over now. Now seek a boon of your wish. Worshipping Brahma, Hiranyakashipu said, May I not be killed by any living being created by you, may I be killed neither in day nor in night, neither by humans nor by animals, neither by weapons nor by arms, neither on earth nor in sky. May no one match me in war. May I be an undisputed emperor of all the living beings. Pleased by his penance, Brahma granted Hiranyakashipu that rare boon. By the virtue of Brahma's boon, Hiranyakashipu grew extremely strong. Now he had no fear of death, so his atrocities increased day by day. He defeated all the gods, human beings, demons, demigods. Everyone accepted his superiority. Now, Hiranyakashipu began to reside in heaven itself. He also made an all-round declaration: all the people who worship or even remember Vishnu shall be put to death in my kingdom. Nobody else is God except me. Thus all the gods and demons began to worship Hiranyakashipu and presented him with gifts to please him. Gandharvas, Siddhas, sages, Apsaras, etc. all began to sing in his praise. Narada says, O Yudhishthira, Hiranyakashipu had such a brilliance that he began to receive the offerings himself of the yajnas performed by Brahmins. On all the 7 islands and up to the heaven, it was his dominion. Now he was freely and lavishly enjoying all the luxuries. Maddened by the luxuries, he even began to violate the rulings of the scriptures. Perplexed by his harsh rule, all the gods went into the refuge of the Almighty. Through a celestial voice, God comforted them, "Don't be afraid, O gods. I am aware of havoc caused by this demon. I will destroy him. You wait for some more time. When he will begin to torment his calm and devotee son Prahlad, I will definitely kill him." The demon king Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons. Prahlad was youngest of them. Prahlad was the greatest lover and devotee of God. Hiranyakashipu had 863 declared such a pious son like Prahlad a criminal of the state. Thus he tried his best to kill Prahlad. Story of Prahlad the great devotee. Pious virtues of Prahlad, the youngest son of the demon king Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad was very virtuous. He used to serve the sages with love. He treated all the beings equally and did never differentiate them as separate from him. He had a respect for the elders. Despite having knowledge, wealth, beauty, and nobility, Prahlad didn't have any ego. He never lost patience even in most adverse conditions. He also regarded the world as false and worthless. He had no desire for anything, but had full restraint on his mind, organ, breath, and body. Despite having born in demon family, he didn't have any demonic virtues. Narada says, O Yudhishthira, as the virtues of the god are endless, similarly the virtues of Prahlad had no limit. But a natural and congenital love for Lord Shri Krishna was his greatest merit. Since his childhood, Prahlad had no inclination for childish plays. Often he used to meditate silently. During his meditation, he used to become quite motionless. More than often he felt as if God himself was fondling him, taking him in his lap. At times when he experienced an absence of God, Prahlad would cry loudly, and at other times he would laugh with joy seeing God before him. He also used to sing, shout, and even dance whenever he felt God nearby. Occasionally, Prahlad used to mimic God, or feeling the soft touch of God, sit peacefully without movement. Such was the trance-like condition of Prahlad, who had a complete submersion in devotion for God. Shukracharya was the teacher of the demons. Sukracharya's two sons had been appointed to teach the boys of the royal family. Staying at a place closer to the royal palace, these two brothers taught the boys in politics, economics, etc. Prahlad too was sent to them for formal education. There he used to listen to his teachers carefully and recite what he had been taught. But Prahlad did not like the education, which was based on falsehood. One day, 864, Hiranyakashipu took Prahlad in his lap and asked lovingly, "My son, tell me what you like the most." Prahlad said, "Father, in my opinion, this world is nothing but full of sorrow. Hence it is just for every being that they should give up this blind pit-like world and go to the forests and take shelter in God to be free of miseries." Alarmed by these words, Hiranyakashipu warned the teachers, the sons of Shukracharya, to look after Prahlad well and to remove that mean thoughts of devotion from his mind. He also cautioned the teachers to guard Prahlad against any possible approach by a god, ascetic or Brahman. Guruputras, the teacher of Prahlad, tried their best and trained Prahlad in policies of Sama, Dama, Dand, Bhed, conviction, temptation, fear of punishment and partiality. Then they trained him in Arth, Dharma and Kama, economic matters, religion and carnal knowledge. When they felt satisfied with their efforts, the Guruputras brought Prahlad again to his father, the demon king Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu kissed Prahlad's head and took him in his lap and asked, "My son Prahlad, tell me in detail what you have learned from your teacher during your stay with them." Prahlad said, "Father, there are 9 kinds of devotion for Lord Vishnu. If one develops these 9 kinds of devotion with dedication, I understand, it would be the best education." Infuriated by these words, Hiranyakashipu threw Prahlad on the floor and began to scoff at Guruputras. Hearing his father scoffing at Guruputras, Prahlad said, "Father, it was not taught to me by them, it is my natural inclination." These words further infuriated Hiranyakashipu. Blinded by anger, he ordered his soldiers to kill Prahlad at once. Formidable demons hit Prahlad with their arms. At that time, Prahlad's conscience was focused in God. All the blows of the demons yielded no result. Thereafter, Prahlad was trampled by intoxicated elephants, bitten by poisonous snakes thrown from the high cliffs into the sea, and even in fire, buried under the mountain, but all in vain. None of the attempts could do any harm to the sinless Prahlad. 865. Now, Hiranyakashyapu began to feel worried because of his inability. Seeing him worried, the teacher assured him, "Be free of worries, O king. Keep your son tied in Varunapash, the noose of Varuna, until our father Shukracharya returns." Then they again took Prahlad to their hermitage to teach him Grihastha Dharma, duties of a married man. One day the teachers were away for some urgent work. Prahlad called his classmates and began to preach them about Lord Vishnu. Preaching to demon boys by Prahlad, Prahlad preached, "Friends, human incarnation is a rare thing in this world. So taking shelter at the feet of God in this human incarnation is a success for life. Brothers, God is the friend, beloved, and the soul of each and every being. Sensual pleasures are easily available in every incarnation, so it is useless to make physical efforts to achieve sensual pleasures. But this human body is a means to get God. So, as long as the body is sound and healthy and it has strength, one must work for his benefits. Half of the life of a man is simply wasted in sleeping. First 20 years pass in playing, young age passes in satisfying the ego, while during the 20 years of old age human body becomes crippled. So friends, don't waste your life running after the physical pleasures, luxuries, wealth, and all that leads to a certain fall. One needs not work hard to please the God. He is soul of every living being. He is self-achieved. Only do good to every living being, be kind to them unconditionally. God is pleased with these actions only. Impressed by the beautiful preaching of Prahlad about Bhagwad Dharma, the demon boys asked, "O Prince, you have never been away from the hermitage. How then did you get such a knowledge at such a raw age?" Prahlad told his fellow disciples that when his father was away on Mandarachal for penance, Indra had kidnapped his mother Kaidu. He was taking her to Devloka when Devarshi Narada stopped him in the way and asked why he was taking such a helpless woman so forcibly. Indra had told then that he would destroy her fetus, who was going to be a demon, and thereafter would let her go. 866. Narada had said, "Devaraj, there is a great devotee of God in this fetus, you cannot kill him. But you need not fear him." Thus convinced by Narada, Indra had released Kaidhu, who then came to stay at Narada's hermitage to pass her time. In the pious company of Narada, who, with a desire to benefit my mother and me, had preached us about Bhagavad Dharma and absolute knowledge, Vishuddha Janana. It is that knowledge which I have preached you just now. God is pleased with unconditional love only. So you to develop devotion for God.